and welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode by Rainy Car Guy on GTA Liberty City Stories, finding something to explode on. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I always respect going to explore bits of maps with vehicles where you probably shouldn't. However, for some reason the bike did not like the subway track, and the player on the floor would eventually just die. I'm not sure whether the train was invisible or whether something was just glitched there. Whatever it was having a bad time in all of that. A Seabad Cruiser is up next on Forza Horizon 5. Now, they're setting up to do one of the stunt jumps. They're playing in the Horizon arcade thing. Now, they've got the Koenigsegg Jesko, very, very fast car, of course, so it's going to jump pretty far when doing this. But it's the landing that's most impressive. It bounces off a building and a backflip and manages to keep the distance as well. The game didn't even give it a failed stunt jump. That's a hell of a landing, actually. Well done. Rising Swell up next on Forza Horizon 5 is doing a multiplayer race against a bunch of what's called a team races against a bunch of the AI cars when the traffic causes mayhem, and unfortunately for the players and, well, a couple of them, they end up stuck in the side of the bridge. That's a bad place for some traffic cars to spawn, and as the AIs couldn't... Someone else actually fell off the bridge, as there's still more of them going on as well. It's an absolute mess of traffic, and the AIs didn't know how to deal with it, and the players, in the end, got quite screwed over along the way. Game Boy is up next on the long drive, running rather quickly in a fury off-road when physics is going to happen. You can't go that fast in this game without physics at some point deciding it's had enough of your shenanigans. Excellent landing. An excellent landing. I still think the Jesko doing a backflip is a little bit more impressive, but either way, that's not a bad landing. I don't know what it hit. I don't know whether there's a little tiny rock somewhere maybe that launched it. But it's the long drive. You don't really need an excuse or a reason for the car suddenly to ping around in space, let's be honest. We move on to Cyberpunk. Now, I've seen plenty of things go wrong on this game over the years of doing this. However, this is not what you are going to be expecting. I know, it's rare. It's not at all. There's a battle between some cars during a race, and it's a wonderful flip. The AI trying to bully the player into the wall, and the player just Lightning McQueen's it, just right rolled over. Wonderful stuff. That is, yeah, excellent recovery. Not an overtake you expect to see very often. Anyway, on to Saints Row the Third with a tank causing mayhem. Of course, you're supposed to cause mayhem in Saints Row. That's half the fun. The thing is, though, this tank has a weakness. Turns out a lamppost or traffic light sort of pole, whatever it was, fell on said tank, and as the turret was rotating, physics got confused and decided the only way to deal with this is to make the tank roll. And the problem is, it wasn't just a single roll. No, this is now just a full-on tumbling tank. I mean, it's difficult to deal with. I say difficult to deal with. I mean, it does show the underbelly quite a lot, which is probably not very strong on a tank. It's now climbed a building. I say successfully, I'm using that in the loosest of possible terms. It's actually trying to climb another building at the moment. That's not how tanks should work. I mean, if the enemy turned around a corner and saw that, you would rightly be very confused, but it is somewhat less fearsome. At some point, the player gets out of the tank, and it continues to do shenanigans. It's very broken. Whatever's got on with that, it is very unhappy indeed. Manages to very nearly run over the player. It's still going away. Some baddies turn up, for which the player has to go and deal with, thanks to a rocket launcher. Unfortunately, in all of this, while this was happening, I mean, more baddies had turned up over there as well. Something caused the tank to stop. I'm not sure. Sadly, we don't quite see what causes it to stop, but that is so many rolls in that one. Sticking with tanks, Drumjack is on War Thunder. A little bit of a crash between two tanks ends, well, badly. Not quite spinning and flipping through the air. No, these are just stuck together. That's not how you physics or how you tank or any of that whatsoever. It just merged some tanks. Thankfully, the game does sort it out, and they do get separated and they can go their separate ways, but not what you need at all in the middle of battle. Matrix Anti on SnowRunner is trying to complete the mission where you are recovering a wreck of a plane. Now, this is a very, very large piece of cargo, and, well, funnily enough, things can go wrong when you have large pieces of cargo. I know you're expecting it to fly to space. No, it didn't do that. It just shuffles about and so nearly pushes the crane that lifted it into the drink. I'm slightly disappointed the crane didn't fall in the water, I'm not going to lie. It would have been much funnier. In the end, it just shuffled around. Relatively tame for SnowRunner. Dam on Euro Truck Simulator 2 has a brown trouser moment. Going rather fast, finds just a random stoppage on the motorway and manages to thread the needle with the truck. I mean, it's nicely done. I don't quite know why the cars on the outside would go so. I don't quite know why that roadblock was sort of formed there. But yeah, that was rather close going, but nicely controlled and nicely stopped. Foxy Fire up next on Automobilist 2 is racing at Bathurst, of course. Wonderful circuit with some V8 supercars. They get a good run heading up towards this final corner, but you are stuck on the outside here. It's a difficult pass to pull off around here. It is helped, though, when the car you are racing goes for a roll off the inside curb. All the places to roll at Bathurst, that's not normally the one that you expect, but yeah, car on the inside takes, I guess, a kind of normal racing line. It just goes far enough up onto its side to roll over. Yeah, it's one way to get an overtake, but it's not what you'd be expecting. And finally, we have ZPS on Assetto Corsa. Now, there's an AI car trying to make a pit stop here, which freaks out one of the Ferraris that is really... It freaks out a Ferrari, really struggling to get it under control, which leads to a big shunt. And as a Porsche comes up, it doesn't have time to avoid another slow Ferrari, and we're going to bounce and fly down the road. Everyone does land and can carry on, but yeah, trying to get to the pit lane at those sort of speeds could be quite dangerous if you're not prepared for it. And a big old shunt ensues. Well, there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form. There'll be a link to it in the description. All the rules and how it works can be found on there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.